Not by those standards. Not by those standards. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing you should be ashamed of. But I'm not here to teach you how to do what everybody's been doing. And, I'm not here to show you how to double your money. You might be able to read a book to teach you how to double your money. That you might be able to do. But that's not what I'm here. I'm here to show you how to make a lot of fucking money. And then go do good with it if you want to. But that's not part of the course. What you do with the money is as long as it's... Now, we're going to make the money legal, moral, ethical. What you do with the money after you got it, I don't give a fuck what you do with it. I'm not associated with it. No recommendations. So, and I'm not saying you should do bad things with it, but I really don't care. My task ends after you've made it. If you decide to do good with it, I'll be with you. If you decide to do whatever with it, I'll be with you too. I don't give a shit. Okay. The key to the big money for these companies has been stock options. They make the employee part of the solution. And this is a very difficult concept to get over in South America, the Middle East, and a lot of parts of the world because they don't give away shit. It was very difficult to get the concept across here in this country. Because what's mine is mine and what's mine is mine. That's the theory. But when you go back historically and look at these companies, Facebook, there was a secondary market in Facebook stock before it went public. People were buying $3, $4, $5, $6 million houses on a secondary market before Facebook even went public. This is how you grow your business geometrically, using stock options. These are, we don't need that. Bill Gates started a company and formed a company not for tax purposes, but so he could share the wealth with his other employees. It's crucial. It was very difficult to get over to the Dutch. Heineke and a few other guys that I know, you mean we're giving them own... I do not understand, Mr. Peña. Explain to me again. We're giving them... I wrote an article many years ago, and I was giving a speech at the Amstel Club, arguably one of the finest clubs in Europe, for sure one of the finest clubs in the Netherlands, and it was Holland is not heaven. Now, needless to say, this article went over like a turd in a punch bowl. They didn't want to hear this. And I told them and this was 20 years ago, I told them you want real geometric growth because the bull market and property, etc., that was existing in the middle 90s, which ended in a few years, no bull market lasts forever. It just doesn't, whether it's property or otherwise. Starbucks secret weapon. The company has given stock options to everyone, from managers to baristas. Now employees see a connection between their work and Starbucks fortunes. Now, when what's the guy's name? Schwartz? No, what's his? Schultz. Yeah. When he came up with the idea, they said he was nuts. They laughed at him. Value of stock options from 1984 to 97. The value of stock options in U.S. public companies has grown from 200 million to 1.2 billion, over 600%. And from 97 to 2008, it has grown to 100 billion. Okay, that's an oxymoron. We don't need that. It's not just Silicon Valley that uses stock options. These companies, MCI, General Mills, Marriott, they all use stock options because for the first time, the employees are part of the solution, not part of the problem. So not only are you going to give options to your directors, you cheap fat fuck, you're going to have options down to the employees that sweep the fucking floor. You want to get up there? That's the formula. Very difficult to get across in Colombia, Spain, wherever. When I made this speech in China, the 200 leading CEOs, they looked at me like I had lost my fucking mind. Sudden, highly significant advance, a breakthrough. Okay, we talked about all this. Okay. Quantum leaps require you to take the offensive. You can't achieve exponential gains in your success from a defensive posture. You can't remain in a passive stance. You cannot act, one, as if you have limits to your abilities, and two, you cannot manage not to lose. You have to manage to win. You have to be on the offensive. How many times have you guys seen American football game where they go into halftime, one team is up 10-0. Okay, so they come out after halftime and they sit on their lead. Okay, they lose 12-10 in overtime. Happens all the time. I can't give a cricket analogy because I don't know, 10 for 6. But anyway, I don't know if you can sit on a lead in cricket. But I know you drink a lot of Pims in the sun, you fall asleep. I know that about cricket. That I know, and it's a pleasant afternoon. And how I remember the first cricket match I went to many years ago. I think we're done for the day, and he said, "No, we're going to have dinner, and then we're going to check into the hotel." And what do you mean we're going? Only tomorrow we start again.
There's an interesting football analogy they did on some show where they said if you go, this one coach in Arkansas, he was going on 4th down because he said, "Why would I ever give up the ball? Instead of punting, I have a better chance of success going on 4th down. I got an extra down." It's kind of like a simple concept.
Yeah. Now, I talk about plans and not having business plans. I was privileged. I was in the CEO's office of Reebok many years ago, and I was walking by his little conference room off his office, and I asked him, "What is that?" And he says, "That's our 3-year plan." And I go, "I'm not making this shit up." I says, "What do you mean 3 years?" Yeah. That's our 3-year plan, and these are our divisions: retail, apparel, blah blah blah, This is your 3-year plan. I says, "Yeah." I says, "Can I have that?" So I rolled it up, and I took it, and I have it to this day. And if I remember correctly, this guy was a MIT, had an MBA from MIT, the Sloan School. And I'm telling you, because plans morph, what's easier to change? That plan or your fucking 300-page? And you notice there's no fucking numbers on that. Guys, I've been doing this a long time, and I've been privileged to be around a lot of very successful people. And whoever taught you did you a disservice. Now, this is more in line with you've learned. Okay, with the greatest respect, with one or two exceptions in the Zoom, what has it got you so far? Fuck all. Thank you. Okay? We don't need that. People don't expect. I said that. Management, I said that. Okay. Now, we're going to save this for tomorrow. This is Dan Peña's 11-step plan. And for the monkeys in the room, we will go over the moron 4-step plan. You actually don't need the 11 steps. This is the Cro-Magnon 4-step plan. And this is, it's like my high school reunion 50 year a few years ago, and they said, Dan has done more with the least of any of the people that's ever graduated from this school. And this is the basic plan I used. What is the fucking outcome I want? 2 billion, 10, whatever, whatever the fuck it is. So the desired completion, what's my commitment? How much am I willing to sacrifice? Pay price to action. You measure periodically, modify, change your plan as necessary, measure, modify plan. We all know what it takes to lose weight. More exercise, eat better, right? How come 60% of the U.S. and 45% of the UK are obese? Is it well advertised? Is it well written how to lose weight? Yeah. They're not willing to pay the price. They're not willing to make the sacrifices. The kids on YouTube and the kids that come here, less because you've made the sacrifice to come here. 1, financial, 2, time. It's not cheap to come here. Not just the cost of it, but coming here for the time, etc. We all know, but we don't do it because we're not willing to make the sacrifice. And for the last day, which is tomorrow, we'll go into this in depth. I'll do more role playing. But this is all you need. This is the Cro-Magnon Mongoloid 4-step super action plan. And I say tongue-in-cheek that some of you, this is probably more than you can absorb or resonate with, but we're still going to ram it down your throat, and I'm going to hold you accountable to this the next 12 months on a weekly basis. And but I mean, you don't need any more. You don't need any more. And I like it simple. You know, I like simplistic stuff because one, it's easier to focus on, and it's easier to stay with. The more complicated the shit is, the harder it is to stay with. And I mean, it doesn't have to be that goddamn complicated. In fact, I would argue it can't be that more complicated. Otherwise, you're increasing the probability for failure geometrically. The only thing geometric would be your failure because you can't keep up with all these various variables. You know, what do you want? You know, I want to, Donald Trump back in the day, I want to change the skyline of Manhattan real estate. Gates, I want to put a computer in every house. He now says, he should have said, in America, he should have said, I want to put a computer in every house in the world. You know, but he didn't. And so we hone it into simplistic stuff. Simplistic because it's easier to follow through on. And what I want to do here, and have done for the past 23 years, is give you the simplest model that fucking works. I'm not interested in, and we know it works because we've got tens of thousands of examples of it working, and we've created a lot of value. We've created way in excess of $50 billion with the kids. And we're going to, and until they put dirt on me, we're going to continue. And you're the most recent group, obviously, that'll go out. And as Jason and a couple other kids have said in their webinars, I mean, you get all fired up and you go out and you find your chairman and you'll find an industry. And if you don't already have one, and many of you don't, and you go out and you rip them, grip it and rip it. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question on overfinance.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay, so you gave the example, you go to the bank, you warm up for $20 million, you buy for 10. How do you actually say we're going to overfinance? Or
No, you don't say.
So how do you phrase that?
No, well, you don't phrase it in the first fucking meeting. That's for goddamn sure.
No,
I mean,
when you want to.
okay, then when you go back, and first of all, especially when they're dealing with you, they're going to be happy. They're going to be happy that you don't really need 20 million. They're going to be happy that at 10 million, you're still going to make them uncomfortable. But no, and you say that we need additional working capital, okay? And you can't really define working capital. How much do you need? Well, we don't know exactly, but we think, and 10% isn't a reasonable amount for additional working capital. Nobody's going to think you're crazy or over the top for 10%. Now, and even maybe a little more, but I would keep it at 10%. Working capital, and from that working capital, you'll keep some of the working capital for, a fallback position in your company, and then you'll pay some bonuses out to the directors. Down to the receptionist, you give the receptionist $500, and she thinks you're a king. Okay, you two, we'll see you in the morning.